From ABC News, this is a special report, Global IT Outage. I'm Michelle Franzen. A faulty software update to Microsoft used by tens of thousands of businesses around the world triggered a cascade of problems for businesses, emergency systems, and airlines. Third-party security firm CrowdStrike issued a patch, but the damage is baked in for travelers. More than 2,500 flights in the U.S. canceled today.
At the Delta Airlines check-in counter at LAX, there are long lines of people who have had their flights canceled. Eli is among them.
Trying to get to Grand Rapids to see my mom, who is, she's got stage 4.
He says he's willing to do anything to get out on a flight.
I'm going to stick it out and try to get on the next flight out because I got to get to mom.
After a long wait, he was rebooked to Detroit. From there, he says he'll make it to Grand Rapids. Alex Stone, ABC News.
CrowdStrike says the disruption was not caused by a cyber attack. Law enforcement warning hackers could be trying to exploit the vulnerability with fake updates. This is
Summer is heating up, just like the deals at Omaha Steaks. From perfectly aged steaks to juicy burgers, Omaha Steaks is your summer grilling headquarters. Shop the Hotter Than Fire sale at omahasteaks.com for exclusive, unconditional money-back guaranteed packages starting at $99. Plus, get an extra $10 off with promo code QUALITY at checkout. Visit omahasteaks.com, code QUALITY for an extra $10 off. Shop the Hotter Than Fire sale today before these deals go up in smoke.
Omaha Steaks, America's original butcher.
Offer not valid in all states or where prohibited by law. Loans are subject to lender approval. See website for details.
Honey, the credit card bill came, and we're maxed out.
Maxed out cards, rent is due. We just need some extra cash to help us get by.
Maybe we should go to 27cash.com.
With our bad credit?
27cash.com is one of the largest personal loan networks. They can help people with any type of credit get up to $5,000, and cash can hit our bank account as soon as tomorrow.
When you need extra cash, go to 27cash.com. That's 27cash.com. 27cash.com.
WNSR, Nashville Sports Radio.
The Omaha Steaks semi-annual sale is here. Get 50% off site-wide and save on mouthwatering favorites today. Go to omahasteaks.com and shop the semi-annual sale, where you can load up on all the delicious flavor you crave at half the price. And when you use promo code SIZZLE at checkout, you'll get an extra $30 off your order. Save big on delicious, tender, juicy steaks, big, beefy burgers, and so much more. With Omaha Steaks, the possibilities are endless. Endless flavor and endless value. Every purchase is backed by their unconditional money-back guarantee. Simply go to omahasteaks.com and shop the semi-annual sale today. And don't forget to use promo code SIZZLE at checkout to get an extra $30 off your order. Hurry, because this deal won't last long. Kickstart your spring grilling today. That's omahasteaks.com. Promo code SIZZLE at checkout. Minimum purchase may apply.
Omaha Steaks, America's original butcher.
From the Nashville Sports Radio Media Complex, this is the George Plaster Show. Call George now at 615-844-5600 and online at WNSR.com. And now, George Plaster.
Featuring Tennessee Sports Hall of Famer Watson Brown, Tennessee Sports Hall of Famer Kelly Holcomb, along with Young Gun Billy Derrick. And now, here's your host, George Plaster.
Hello again, everybody. Welcome in. It is Friday, and my thoughts are, thank God. Weather. It could get a little rain. The forecast actually says rain tomorrow. It says here on my phone, 55% chance. Rain on Sunday, rain on Monday, rain on Tuesday, rain Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Now, recently when we've gotten rain, it's like 2.5 minutes worth. My yard looks like an industrial site. Welcome to Steiner Lift. So no Kelly today. Billy, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you, Leland Statham, for the weather report.
Wearing your nice free shirt?
Yep.
That's good.
Yeah.
I like that.
I like the blue plaster shirt as opposed to the white.
Blue looks good.
Yellow? I don't know if I'm there yet on the yellow.
I don't know. Neither one of us have donned the yellow.
Primary color.
Yeah. Okay, so today, kind of a little bit of a change from some things we normally do on a Friday. Danny Evans is going to join us. at 4:20. We'll take a batch of phone calls around 4:40 for him. We'll see if the change in schedule messes people up, or are you ready to talk a little baseball with him? And then Mike Organ will join us at 5:03 to be exact. And then next week, out of here, vacacion.
You excited?
Yeah, I am. Do not call me.
I won't. I think you. If anything, you'll be calling me about something.
Yeah, fat chance. Do you have an update of any substance whatsoever?
We got a little bit of substance today.
Do you?
And it's brought to you by Lori Burnett Leland. MortgageLadyUSA.com is the website, or give her a call, 615-969-4350. The media poll is out, and guess who the SEC media has predicted to win the conference?
Vandy.
Well, they got 2 votes.
First place votes.
Yep.
Yeah.
I would love to know who picked that.
Drinky Winky.
I don't. When do they open it up? I wanted to ask Billy. When do they open up the voting? It's not the whole week.
I don't really know,
because you start to wonder. I know they had a media party, but that's I don't know. I don't know how that happens. But Georgia is at the top, of course. Texas
media party,
right behind Georgia, and then Alabama, and then there's a little bit of a gap. Ole Miss. Vandy has as many SEC champion votes as LSU, so you don't get that yet.
Put absolutely no stock in this. It means nothing.
Didn't it used to mean something, though?
I mean, I don't know. Clearly, somebody didn't, put a lot of thought into it or decided to be cute. And although I'll say this, if that person's right, then they might come forward. Hey, I was the one.
Last year, I think it was the same scenario.
Yeah, well, whatever.
Anyway, James Pierce and Cooper Mays are both on the first team, All-SEC first team. Had a chance to talk to Cooper, obviously, on Tuesday's show, I think it was. And not surprised there. I mean, he's a veteran guy, and then James Pierce, one of the best edge rushers in the country. So Tennessee with some talent on the interior, both lines there. Also, in college football, Alabama's going to name their field at Bryant-Denny Stadium after Nick Saban.
So what this really does, it allows them to do 2 different things. Alabama was not about to change Bryant-Denny Stadium. When I first went in that place, and back then in the early 80s, it was kind of a dump. It was Denny Stadium. Then it became Bryant-Denny. And now what they've done, they weren't about to piss off the Bear Bryant people.
No.
And so they go Nick Saban Field at Bryant-Denny Stadium.
They weren't about to go Saban-Denny. That would not have flown.
No, that would not be good. No, they've handled it about as good as they could.
A ceremony is going to dedicate the Saban Field on September the 7th, right before the South Florida game.
At Kentucky, for a while, it was C.M. Newton Field.
Really?
And then Kentucky sold the naming rights to Kroger.
As I don't think many people like. But more people are going to be doing that.
Yeah.
Because of the money.
It's kind of sad, but this is where we are.
I mean, think about Thompson Bowling Arena. It's now Food City Center at Thompson Bowling Arena, I think.
What was the name of the it was Food King in Animal House. You remember where they go and they pilfer all the food?
Yeah, I do remember that part of it. Also in college football, Utah State has fired their football coach, Blake Anderson, 2 weeks after informing him of its intent to terminate because of alleged actions last year that the school said violated his contract.
When they tell you that their intention is to do it, seldom does it turn around where you go, hey, you're back. Great. Good to see you.
So this is old news. We knew this was.
Yeah.
But significant violations related to reporting requirements for all Utah State employees. Messy situation there. So Utah, that's not the time you want your coach. I'm sure they've prepared for this, right? But not the time of year you want your coach to be relieved. Let's go to college baseball. The draft obviously wrapped up last week. Charlie Condon and Chase Burns both got paid big time. Paul Skeens originally held the record for highest signing bonus from a college player. I think it was $9 million straight up. But now Burns and Condon both signed $9.25.
Good Lord.
$1 million signing bonuses.
How nice.
And good for both of them because it's not like these are kids straight out of high school. I mean, they put in their time in college. Burns had a wild college career, obviously had some success at Tennessee, and then Wake Forest didn't even get out of a regional, but they had a ton of talent. I think they had 3 top 10 picks.
Yeah.
Also, college hoops, John Rothstein's reporting that TCU and Vandy are finalizing an agreement to meet on December 8th of this season at Dickies Arena in Fort Worth.
Now,
which is interesting.
I don't know this. I'm guessing this is game 1 of a home and home. TCU's arena is considerably smaller than Memorial Gym.
Yeah.
I want to say seats about 8.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing this is a home and home.
Jamie Dixon has been there for a little bit now at TCU. Vanderbilt's entering the first year.
Bad hair.
He was at Pitt before. Your boy Stallings took over, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm sure he'd appreciate your calling him your boy.
I mean, he is. Anyway, the British Open going on as well today. Shane Lowry at the top at 7 under. Justin Rose and Daniel Brown both at 5 under. Got some big names struggling. Tiger Woods is nothing new recently, though. He's at plus 14. Oof. Rory McIlroy really struggling at 11 over as well. Scotty Scheffler is in there in the top 4 at 2 under. So, and he's the favorite. That'd be incredible for him to win out there.
You know, have you watched any of it?
I saw some clips of some, there was I forget who it was, but there was a guy in the rough and the ball just, bounced over. Some of the shots that these guys.
Well, some of these holes are goat holes.
Yeah, why do they? I don't know why they make it.
I don't know. I mean, their idea of golf beauty is a little different than mine. I mean, they've got some stuff that looks like my backyard.
Yes, seriously. I have not watched much of it, though, but that will continue this weekend. We do have some NBA stuff. The Grizzlies have traded former lottery pick Zaire Williams to the Nets. Williams goes to the Nets with a 2030, a second-round pick via the Mavericks for Mamadi Diakite. So Grizzlies making some moves. Obviously, they selected Zach Edey.
Don't be talking about my mom like that. What was the guy's name?
Mamadi Diakite. I think he played at Virginia, I want to say.
Okay.
Was a good player there. But for the Grizz, this moves out the $6 million guaranteed on his contract and maybe a little bit more money to re-sign Luke Kennard, who is a guy I'm sure they want to keep right there. But I'm really interested to see Zach Edey, obviously, with Summer League rolling along, to see how he fits and how much better he can make the Grizzlies.
The early returns on him out there have been pretty good.
Yeah, and there's not a ton of expectation for him. I mean, everybody, I feel like, is saying...
No, but when you're the 9th pick in the draft, that's saying they think you're going to deliver the goods.
He's probably got a chip on his shoulder after everybody talking down on him.
Because nobody has thought that he would be a great pro. And, I'm one of them. I hope he proves me and everybody else wrong.
Meanwhile, Dalton Knecht and Bronny James played well the other night. I did see Dalton Knecht signing a Connect 4 box after one of the games this week. That's what they're calling him, Connect 4.
Which based on what? What's
his
that?
last name's Connect. You know the game Connect 4?
No, you got to help me.
It's a board game.
Okay.
But it's actually, you pull it out and you drop the whatever down there.
Yeah.
Maybe that's too new. I don't know what games you played.
Exactly what are you
I don't
inferring?
know. I don't know what board games you played as a kid.
Well, I mean, that's been a while ago.
Yeah.
Since I was a kid. When I became an adult, I put away childish things. If you're wondering where that line came from, I think it's North Dallas 40, where Tom Landry, whoever played him in the movie, said something like, "It's time to put away childish things."
Lastly here, we're talking baseball coming up with Danny Evans. Braves are back in action tonight, as is everybody, hosting the Cardinals. 6:20 first pitch at Truist Park. That would be a fun series to go to this weekend.
Spencer Schwellenbach, he is one of the keys to whether they have any shot of overtaking the Phillies. And I don't think they have much of one, but I think it's important that this young guy continue to pitch well, because as he does, they're able to space out a lot of their starting pitchers. They're essentially going at times with a 6-man rotation so that the Chris Sales and the Ronaldo Lopez's, that at the end of the year they're fresh and ready for the playoffs. That's their theory. We'll see if it works.
Sonny Gray on the mound for the Cardinals.
Yep.
Tonight.
I like Sonny, but not tonight.
Sonny is 9-6 this year. Solid. And he, you talk about his career. He's had it's going on a good bit now. He is really sustained really well. You look at the Vanderbilt pitchers out of Price, Bueller. Bueller struggled with injuries. But,
he's right up there at the top.
You could say sustainability, consistency. Sonny Gray's at the top there. So Gray and Schwellenbach tonight for the Braves and the Cardinals.
We done?
Yep.
Okay. When we come back, Danny Evans is going to join us. There is news out of Tampa that has me asking, what does this mean about Nashville and its expansion stuff? Does this speed up the schedule? I'll explain more when we come back. You're listening to The George Plaster Show on 95.9 FM.
It was the most horrible experience that any mother could ever go through. I knew that I needed to get help. My friend, she immediately said, "You need to call Bart Durham." And you guys were there within an hour. You guys are like family for us.
Yeah, sure is nice to connect with the people that you're doing your best to help.
Year number 2 of the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night was awesome. And the reason is really simple. I chose Strike and Spare, and they were amazing. They have great food, great bowling, and a staff that is truly ready to go the extra mile to help you. They have 5 family fun centers in the area to choose from, and for more info, go to strikeandspare.com or call them at 615-824-5688. Venture Express has been helping people in this area for more than 40 years. They're headquartered in Murfreesboro with over 30 years of dedicated fleets involving production, manufacturing, and corrugated experiences. They're an asset-based company with over 700 tractors, 4,000 trailers, and 800 drivers. If you need their help, dial them up 615-793-9500 or log on to ventureexpress.com.
As the trusted premier custom home builder in Middle Tennessee, Donnelly Timmons has over 20 years of experience in the industry. Whether you're looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and every remodel is unique, luxurious, and completed on time within budget. Founders Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly have over 25 years of construction experience in the Nashville area. Together, they have completed projects in Forest Hills, Oak Hill, Green Hills, Franklin, and Brentwood. Dustin and Joey believe that communication is the most important aspect of all construction projects. Therefore, they personally manage each project themselves and are involved in job site activities on a daily basis. Their commitment to quality and integrity has earned them an outstanding reputation among their clients. Contact them to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects. Give them a call at 615-456-7983 or log on to DonnellyTimmons.com. Activities on a daily basis. Their commitment to quality and integrity has earned them an outstanding reputation among their clients. Contact them to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects. Give them a call at 615-456-7983 or log on to DonleyTimmons.com.
Okay, we are back, and let's say hello to the man who can talk baseball as good, if not better, than any human being on the planet. Danny Evans joins us from where?
Iowa today.
Yeah, that's
George.
what I thought.
Pretty happy to be here today, and no rain, perfect temperature, so looking good. And I'm glad you got my PR write-up and were able to articulate it very well. So thank you.
What'd you think of the All-Star game?
I think it's always the best of the All-Star games of all the pro leagues, George, and I thought we had a chance to see the future, the present, and the excellence of some veteran guys. I thought it was a great showcase, a really well-played game. I think the game's in really good hands with the next generation of players. And I think the ballpark played great, too. It was a lot of fun. It was for me, I enjoyed some of the mic work during the game. I thought that was kind of cool. And frankly, when great players are on the field, I enjoy every minute of it.
Next year, Hotlanta, GA.
Yeah, and you know what? I think what we're seeing is the Braves are going to really do some great things at Truist Park to really make the experience even better for the fans and for the Braves fans year-round. So I think it'll be great. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, they have announced some, not renovations necessarily, but some new additions for next year. So, Danny, I want to get your take on this story that got out yesterday, and I'll read the very beginning of it. The Tampa Bay Rays are on track to get a long-sought new ballpark following a city council vote Thursday on a major development project that also guarantees the team will stay where it is for at least 30 years. The ballpark is part of a broader $6.5 billion project that supporters say would transform an 86-acre tract in the city's downtown. Now, obviously, people here who want baseball are saying, Danny, in your mind, does this speed anything up as far as MLB's plans?
Well, first of all, George, I'm thrilled for the Tampa Bay fans, its franchise, its staff. I go back a long time with that ballpark. That was going to be the potential home of the White Sox back in 1986 when I was a young executive. We were going to move to Tampa Bay and that old ballpark, and I think the current ballpark just doesn't work. I think the plans for this new stadium, we're seeing it right now on the YouTube feed. It looks spectacular, and it's right in the heart of the business district. I think it's a real exciting move, and I think it probably does step up the timetable for Major League Baseball expansion. The only problem, George, is the whole Oakland, Las Vegas, Sacramento situation doesn't seem to be on real solid ground right now. There's a lot of people writing things that make me feel it's still a little murky. I don't trust Fisher, the owner. There's a lot of problems there, but I think Major League Baseball now can focus on the Oakland franchise exclusively, and I think it does step up the timetable for expansion.
If you had to guess, because you're right, the Oakland thing that seemed solid, 4-6 months ago has gotten really murky. Mm-hmm. And that would concern me because every time Oakland thinks they're headed to something, it gets murky. But if you had to guess, will the expansion cities be named in the next year?
I think in the next 2 years, George, it's a complicated process. They have to vet out the potential owners. They have to vet out point people and the point man or woman for the staff. So I think a lot has to go on. Plus, it has to be negotiated as a basic agreement, as a collective bargaining agreement situation with the Players Association. So it's not something that they can just toss out there. It has to be collectively bargained.
Okay, on the field, now that we got the All-Star game over, we're getting ready for a trade deadline that's really weird in the fact that you've got a bunch of teams jammed up in sort of a maybe they're a contender, maybe they're not, and only a few teams that you know for sure, like the White Sox, that are automatic sellers.
Yeah.
What do you think this does to this market?
I think it elevates the value of players that are on the trade, I'd say, fence. But the problem, George, is I think there's only 6 clubs that are out. And I think there's 12 teams that are on the fence. And as a result, some of those teams on the fence are going to have to make a decision whether or not they want to move someone who's free agent eligible to get his maximum value and replace him with someone else who keeps them in the race. Hard to make a deal currently simply because, George, the bad teams have mostly bad players. And they also have players that haven't been there, done that in a playoff race. Those are really tough guys to get excited about. You don't know how they're going to handle the pressure. You don't know how they're going to handle being a key cog on a playoff team. I don't like to bet on those guys. I stay away from those guys. And teams like Miami, Colorado, the White Sox, they just haven't even been in a real playoff race on a regular basis. So I think what you have here is a collection of teams, more than a third of the clubs in the big leagues, trying to figure out what they want to do in the next 2 weeks before the deadline. And I think it's going to elevate trade value. I think it'll also make these next, I'd say, 7 to 10 days huge when it comes to trade position. And George, that's why if I were a club that's in right now, I'd be aggressive. I'd try to get my deals done right now because I think the value is going to escalate to a point where you may not feel comfortable with those players.
Okay, let me get one really close to home.
Mm-hmm.
Kid from the University of Tennessee who has become the bright spot in the White Sox gloom and doom, Garrett Crochet.
Yep.
From the University of Tennessee. On one hand, Danny, I'm sitting there thinking to myself, look, he should be the anchor of their future. But on the other hand, there are teams out there that can say, man, we might overpay to get this guy because this year he could get us to a World Series. How do you think this one plays out?
It's a great question, George, and it's a very unique situation. You have a young pitcher with 5+ years of control, a reliever turned starter. He's already hitting his innings load from last year. You really don't know who he's going to be these last 2.5, 3 months of the baseball season. But what you have is control of the player for an extended period. You gain an ace. You can take a guy who's a 1 through 3 starter. He could be a quality reliever. Whoever he is, George, you've got him for the next 3 to 5 years. A lot of value. As a result, were I the White Sox, I would move him. They're not going to win the next couple years. His value is just going to elevate further in terms of dollars. And by the time the team is competitive enough, he's going to be free agent eligible. So were I advising the White Sox, it would be a hard yes, listen. I heard all the comments this week about Skubal, who I think is a great young arm. But if you could get a guy for 2 to 3 further years of control, that's the guy you go after. And I think you're going to see him and I don't really have a lot of faith in the White Sox decision makers. They've made some really poor moves the last couple years, but were they able to make a good move, this could align their franchise for a much more positive situation and a quicker rebuild, George. If I were in their case, I mean, they're going to lose 120 games, right? If they trade him, they trade other guys. That would be the only reason that people would shy away from trading a guy like that they don't want to be the 62 Mets.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, let's go across town to the Cubs, who have been a big disappointment. I'm a big Cody Bellinger fan. I think that there are a bunch of teams that would love to plug him in, starting with the Phillies. If you're the Cubs, what are you doing here?
Well, you don't know their relationship, which is always important. You know, he came back, he signed. You know, you make promises, you have conversations, and as a result, some of the things are only known by the parties involved. Bellinger's a heck of a good player, and his pedigree is outstanding. I mean, the fact that he's been there, done that, you know, George, that's a pretty easy guy to get excited about if you're another club. The Phillies are just one of a huge collection of teams that could see him as a long-term guy for their club. Were I the Cubs, I'd be listening on just about everybody just to see where you are today, because you don't know if they're going to bottom out. They played well for the last 10 days before the All-Star game, but sometimes the All-Star game, George, just puts the brakes on a good streak, and it halts a bad streak. So you really don't know who you are sometimes coming out of the break. You know, one of the things we're dealing with today, George, is so unique because of all the problems in the air with the technology today, basically sidelining 3 airline companies from flying. Guys are going to be showing up at game time or during the ball game. I've read a lot of reports about that. That could really harm you in the first game back. Were I the Cubs, I'd wait. That division is still one that you can get involved in.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, the wild card, you're in the hunt. I think with the other team in town struggling, the White Sox, I think you want to be really careful about bailing. I personally would hang on to Bellinger.
And that's the weird thing. A 5-game winning streak for some team, make up one in the National League, could elevate you from not really all that in it to all of a sudden, heck yeah, we're in it.
You know, look at the D-backs last year. You know, look at the Bravos 2-3 years ago. I mean, this, you know, it's for a lot of people, they don't recognize what you just said is so true. You're a week away and against the right team. If it's a team that you're competing with, you ace them out a little bit. You get hot once or twice through the rotation. I mean, George, 83 to 85 games is going to be the second or third wild card team in the National League. In the American League, it's a little bit more clearly defined, but I think what we have in the National League on July 19th is a startling exhibit of what the additional wild cards do.
Okay, I'm going to throw one at you that back when you were a GM with the Dodgers was not as big a deal as it is today, and that is how many innings has a guy that's been brought up, pitched in the past, compared to what they're needing him to pitch now, in particular if a team gets into postseason. How does a GM look and try to figure out what is left in this guy's tank?
You know what? That is one of the best questions, and it's one that is really subjective. You really have to know your players, the trainer, the pitching coach, the strength and conditioning guy. Sometimes the bullpen guy knows them well. Every player is different at an early stage of their career. You really don't know what their capacity is. The problem is you have to find out. So what you do is with some real careful strategic conversations, you know, you alluded to it before I came on, talking about a 6-man rotation, talking about skipping starts, neutralizing their side days and shortening them up. It's particularly productive for a team that knows they're going to be in, but for a club that's in the hunt for a wild card and has no margin for error, that's a really hard thing to do because you don't want to give up your chance to win for the sake of one individual. It's a tightrope, and it's really hard one to walk on. But George, something I've learned through the years, every player's different. Some teams use really great metrics and medical technology to find out about the player transparency when it comes to his physicality. And there's some fascinating ways of doing it. The more techie and more, I would say new thinking clubs are really great at that. They monitor their players. The old school clubs tend to kind of wing it. In this case, I really favor the teams that go at it from a technology standpoint because they know their players a little better from a physical standpoint. But George, here's the key. You really don't know. And that in itself for a general manager is a scary situation.
True.
You don't know if you should be adding somebody or if you're going to be okay for the next 3 months.
Danny, let's do this. Obviously, today, a little different than normal. I'm going to see if there's some phone calls. If there are 3 red-blooded American Abner Doubledays who want to talk a little baseball with Danny. So as we go to this break, I want 3 of you who love baseball to jump in with a question for Danny. Dial him up at 615-844-5600. Again, 615-844-5600. We will take your phone calls when we come back. You're listening to The George Plaster Show on 95.9 FM. As you might be able to tell, my buddy Stan Harrison, he's an Alabama Crimson Tide fan, but he's actually here to talk about Apple Collision Centers.
Hello, Middle Tennessee. I'm Stan Harrison, CEO of Apple Collision Centers, and we understand the stress it causes in having an automobile accident. We can help you ease the stress of the auto body repair process at our 3 locations. We're conveniently located in Old Hickory, Hendersonville, and Gallatin. We've got rental cars available, we have PDR technicians available, and we have windshield technicians available. Please stop by one of our places and see us if you need our services.
And by the way, when you come in his office, this just in, he's a sports fan.
You were in a crash.
Yeah.
Your kids were in the car with you.
We're very lucky to even be telling this story to you. Nikki treated us like family, and she was very caring and loving, and I'm just so grateful for that. She was somebody I could trust, and being a veteran, that's so important to me. My kids are going to have a better life now because I don't have to worry about those expenses that we were out. Your family has really created a legacy of trust, and I would recommend you to anyone.
Nashville Sounds Baseball is back in Hit City for the 2024 season. Spend your nights and weekends at the ballpark with weekly giveaways, fireworks shows, throwback deals, live music, and more. Top talent will take the field at First Horizon Park against the AAA Minnesota Twins, Baltimore Orioles, Atlanta Braves, St. Louis Cardinals, Cincinnati Reds, and more. Tickets start at just $10 and are available now at NashvilleSounds.com. We will see you in Hit City.
For over 35 years, Wilson Bank & Trust has been committed to providing customized banking solutions to help individuals, families, and businesses in Tennessee achieve their goals. As your full-service community bank, we are proud to offer loans with competitive rates, local decision-making, and fast, friendly service from our experienced lenders. No matter where you are on your financial journey, Wilson Bank & Trust is ready to help you take the next step. Visit your nearest Wilson Bank & Trust office or online at wilsonbank.com to get started today. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Over the years, more men have started to seek help for hormone deficiencies and imbalances, and Dr. Jeffrey Lodge and wife Daphne, along with their experienced staff, give men the treatment required to improve their quality of life, improve your immune system, energy level, cognitive function, and more. There's no better time to achieve a healthy lifestyle. What are you waiting for? Give Cool Springs MD a call today for an appointment at 615-486-3458 or visit the website coolspringsmd.com.
If you're having plumbing issues, there's only one guy to call. That's Adam Whitehead. As a third-generation plumber, Adam was born and raised right here in Bellevue. Customers praise his professionalism, efficiency, and personability. Adam is known for his prompt response to emergencies and for providing high-quality repairs at reasonable prices. His expertise extends to various plumbing issues, including sink leaks, dishwasher installations, and outdoor water issues. Call him at 615-485-1534. That's 615-485-1534.
Let him earn your business. Let the sportsbrokers.com show you how to win consistently. Call now and get today's underdog winner outright. 800-220-6262. Absolutely free. Kevin Todd is the nation's #1 sports handicapper. He's the professional the professionals turn to. It's yours absolutely free at 800-220-6262. That's 800-220-6262. Kevin Todd turns outcomes into incomes. Call now. 800-220-6262.
Oh, that is a great song. Heartbreaker. Dionne Warwick. Danny looks like he's ready to sing it.
Dionne Warwick, what a voice. Oh my gosh. Unbelievable.
You think? Amazing. By the way, loaded lines. Let's do it. Eric in Nashville, say hello to the one and only Danny Evans.
George, first of all, I just want to say this to you. You know me. I'm a big football fan, love pro football, but I got to admit, I love this segment that you do every week with Danny. I really appreciate you having him on to talk baseball, so thank you very much for that.
You know what I'm proud of in that thing, Eric, is that we went out and we didn't just get somebody who was pretty good. We got the best, period.
Yeah.
Send me some money, Danny.
I love it. And Eric, I love that you love this segment because that football thing I don't understand very well.
Well, I guess, George, now you can be his agent, I guess. But Danny, first of all, hello. And I definitely bring this up because I've got to talk about my Reds. And, of course, the baseball draft was last weekend. And, of course, they talk about this pitcher that we got. That a lot of people saying that he's the next phenom. They're saying he's the next Skeens. I'm real excited about it. Just want to get your thoughts, not only on him, but just overall what you thought about the Reds draft and baseball draft. What kind of grade would you give it, and anybody else you felt besides the pitcher that stands out? Guys, y'all take care. Have a great weekend. We'll talk again soon.
Eric, a good question.
Danny, before you go, that'll leave a line open. If somebody wants to jump in and talk with Danny Evans, I got room for you and I've got time for you. 615-844-5600. Go.
Eric, you know, the Reds draft, I'm a little bit of a old school hard guy for this. I don't think you can evaluate your draft yet. You picked who you thought was a really good group, but you never know how guys are going to matriculate to the pro game. You don't know how they're going to handle the big leagues. Everybody really likes their draft a couple days after the draft. On the surface, I think they did a great job. I think they have really selected some quality players, but it is such a leap to the pro level, Eric. You never know. This is when your scouting and your player development have to mesh and produce a really good player.
Reds have got to be kind of shaking their heads. It has not been a good first half, and yet, Danny, they're in that 5-game winning streak, and they'd be right there.
No question, George. They're a 78 to 83 win team. They could easily get in, and they could easily be out. These first, I'd say, week to 7, maybe 7 to 10 days are going to determine the rest of their year.
Tony in Nolensville is up next. Tony, say hello to Danny Evans.
Hello, George, and hello, Danny. Good talking to you again.
What's up, Tom?
Well, I don't know if I'm more excited to be a red-blooded American Abner Doubleday or to be able to come on and talk a little baseball with you each week. So.
I know which way I would pick.
I've got to put them both of them up there together, you know?
Yeah, to me, that's a no-brainer.
And, guys, it's a beautiful day here, Danny. It's finally we got a little rain, and I'm sitting outside on my porch having a little adult beverage and listening to you and George talk some baseball. And I want to throw in my little question to you. I heard 2 days ago, George, I don't know if you heard this on MLB Network or something, over 40 players right now are on starting or that are in starting lineups in Major League Baseball have a batting average of 200 or below. And there's even more players that have a batting average of 200 to 210. Why, in your estimation, is the pitchers dominating as much as they are this year? And I think it's been going on maybe the last year or so. Why are they being able to dominate the game as much as they are? Guys, have a good weekend. I wanted to ask that question. I'll listen off air. Thank you, George.
That is a great question.
It sure is. And, Tony, the triple slash is at a low that we haven't seen since 1968. Batting average is around 242. That would be the lowest batting average since the year that Yastrzemski was the only 300 hitter in the big leagues at 301. He won the Triple Crown that year. They lowered the mound as a result of that situation. I think what we have here is a real concerning moment for a lot of people in the game is that pitching is overwhelmingly dominating hitting right now. Part of the reason you have 13 pitchers on every club, you can trot guys out for an inning. It's not just the velocity, it's their repertoire. And Tony, they're pitching to hitters' weaknesses. They're exploiting weaknesses like never before. The scouting and the metrics and the analytics have got to the point where hitters are being dominated. And that's why hitting and acquiring hitters is at an all-time high right now. It's vital to have bats. I mean, the Yankees, your Yankees, with a couple of really good players in the heart of their lineup is, right now, it's a rarity in the game. So I think what we have is a real serious situation in the game that offense has been neutered, and I think it's not good for the game. I mean, I love great pitching, but I don't like to see hitters dominated. I don't fault the hitters for the anemic, projection and the anemic production. They're just a victim of what's going on in the game right now.
Is there a solution?
There's a couple. You could make the strike zone smaller. You could lower the mound further. You could do some things where you could, alternate various things that are analytically difficult. But I think this deserves as much attention as speeding up the game did. Because what we're at right now, George, I mean, it is a desert in offensive world, and that's not good. People come to the ballpark to see people do things they couldn't do. And I think, when you don't see a lot of offense, the purists like you and I, like Tony, love it. But for a lot of people, they want to see 7-5. They want to see some runs scored. That's a real hard thing to find on the menu right now.
Thomas in Murfreesboro. Say hello to Danny Evans.
What's going on, Danny?
What's up, Thomas?
Doing good. I have a question for you. What is a trade that could shock a lot of fans around the MLB world right now? And is it Tyreek Skubal from the Tigers?
I think it's George becoming the spokesman for the iPhone and its technology. I think.
Hold on, probably... I think we're ready for that moment. I want to talk to all of you about something I value and have for years.
I think that's a great question, Thomas. I think there are people being talked about right now within the game that you would never imagine. And, a great example, George brought it up with Bellinger. Skubal is a tremendous young pitcher, but they're closer to being competitive than they've been in the last few years. That's a hard one to do unless you get a great trade on the other side. Here's the problem we've got, Thomas. If you go in trying to make a great trade and won't deal the player otherwise, that's a real hard person on the other end of the phone. I mean, it's hard to give them everything they want. This is a great example of not trying to win the deal, but trying to maximize the value. I think there's some truly great guys out there, guys like Vladdy, like Bichette, that are being talked about, but being talked about in a very tentative way, trying to figure out what's the best way to maximize this player's value.
I'm trying to think of a name out there because you've brought up a couple. Toronto, they're dead last, and that everyday lineup shouldn't be dead last.
Yeah.
So,
George, I'd move Miller if I were Oakland. You're not going to win. Take Miller, max him out, just push your chips in, get 4 players for a closer. You know what? Yes, he's great. Yes, he's tremendous. But, George, they will never be competitive in the next 2 or 3 years. There's no reason to have a closer. So for me, max out his value.
You could get a bunch for him.
You sure could, especially, George, with the race being so tight, because 2 or 3 wins could be the whole difference in your season. For that matter, it could be 1.
Real quickly, do you think the Braves truly make a run at Philly? I don't.
I do. I think
Tell me why.
Will, because they've been there. They know their club. I like the way they were swinging the bat and playing before the break. I think the Cardinals are a great way for them to get started after the break. The Cardinals were playing terrific. It's a real good veteran team. You're not going to come in overstating where you were. You got a really competitive club. I do think they get close, and I think they get close enough for Philly to notice.
Love it. Talk to you soon.
Hey, George, one quick thing. I'm thrilled for Adrian Beltre. I was with him for 7 or 8 years. I love him. I've always been a big fan of his. He knows it. I'm thrilled for him to be inducted on Sunday.
Yes. If anybody's deserving, it's him.
Yeah, Todd Helton as well.
Yeah.
Tennessean.
Tennessee boy. Danny, we'll do it again soon.
Bye, guys.
See you, Danny.
Danny Evans, I love the fact that you all want to talk baseball with him. That is awesome. Stat of the day is coming up after the break, and then Mike Organ from the Tennessean on a busy week that did not include SEC football media days. Stay with us on 95.9 FM.
Good afternoon. I'm looking at an accident. May have some injuries up here in Hendersonville. It's got traffic really slow eastbound on Vietnam Vets at Gallatin Pike. Again, here in Sumner County, it's just crazy slow because of this accident. Here again in Hendersonville on Vietnam Vets going eastbound. It's really starting to pick up out here now. 65 as you work your way down into Brentwood. There's a wreck 65 northbound. It looks like it's there near Concord Road in Brentwood. Prince's Hot Chicken has new items on the menu. PrincesHotChicken.com. I'm Commander Chuck. You're on time traffic.
Dog parents are loving Dr. Marty's Nature's Blend Premium Dog Food.
The way she acts and the way she moves, it's just so much better. And she's like a puppy again. It's unbelievable.
Dr. Marty's Nature's Blend is a freeze-dried raw food made with 0 artificial preservatives, so it's naturally shelf-stable with no mess, freezer, or fridge required. Plus, it's full of premium turkey, beef, salmon, and meat your dog will love.
We started with Nature's Blend. She's happy, she sleeps well, she's energetic. I am just delighted with this product.
When given the choice, Nature's Blend and Amazon's #1 bestseller in dry dog food, 29 out of 30 dogs chose Nature's Blend first.
I'm so confident your dog will love it. Your order is back with a 90-day guarantee.
Save up to 54% off Nature's Blend and get a free bag of delicious beef liver treats. Go to drmartypets.com/healthy or text healthy to 511-511. Text healthy to 511-511. All pets are unique. Your pet's results can and will vary. Message and data rates may apply. Studies available upon request. Paid for by Dr. Marty's Pets.
Looking for a way to elevate your engine's performance? Start with Napa Full Synthetic Engine Oil.
It provides faster oil flow for hot and cold temperature protection in the harshest driving conditions. Regular use can help your engine run cleaner and longer by defending against sludge and buildup, improving overall engine performance and fuel efficiency while increasing the time between oil changes. Make the switch without slowing down. Feed your ride Napa Full Synthetic Engine Oil. Available now at Napa locations nationwide.
Buyandtow.com. Get cash for junk cars. Do you have a vehicle that's become a problem? You can get cash in your hand today and your vehicle hauled away. They'll buy your vehicle no matter the condition, in your driveway, at your mechanic shop, or even on the side of the road. Give them a call today at 615-480-6473 or visit buyandtow.com. Get cash in your hand today and your vehicle hauled away. 615-480-6473. Buyandtow.com. That's buyandtow.com.
Atlanta Braves baseball is back, and the battle for a 7th straight division title is officially on.
Hit high and deep to left center. This has got a chance. Gone! Another home run for Olsen. He smokes another one. He lit the fuse on this bomb, and that's gone.
Listen to every pitch live, exclusively on your home for Atlanta Braves baseball. WNSR, Nashville Sports Radio.
Wrap it up this first hour. We've got Mike Organ coming up. Going to talk a little bit of everything after a busy week for him. But let's get to Stat of the Day, brought to you by Adam Whitehead Plumbing right here in Nashville. If you ever have issues, water heaters, bathrooms, kitchen sinks, water or sewer lines, give Adam a call, 615-485-1534. All right. You'll be wishing you had Danny back for this one potentially, George. Emmanuel Clase? Is that how you pronounce
Emmanuel Clase is a lights out closer in Cleveland.
Became the fourth.
He's a stud.
He became the fourth pitcher in history with multiple All-Star Game saves. Which pitcher has the most saves in All-Star Game history?
Okay, I'm going to take a stab, and that's about all it is. Because to do this, your league has to get on kind of a streak. And in the late 70s and the 80s, the National League dominated. Thus, I am going with Bruce Sutter.
That's your final answer?
That is my final answer. I don't care if it's wrong.
Well, it is wrong.
I was afraid of that.
It is Mariano Rivera.
By the way, I like the logic of my guess.
I don't know who Bruce Sutter is.
Oh, please. Are you serious?
When did he play?
Bruce Sutter was a dominant closer.
When?
For the St. Louis Cardinals, the Cubs.
When?
In the 80s.
There's your answer. Why?
Have you heard of Babe Ruth? Yes or no?
Don't give me that.
Well, I mean, Bruce Sutter.
Bruce Sutter is not Babe Ruth. Come on, George.
Let me tell you something. And by the time he signed with the Braves, he certainly was not.
Sutter, I just got word Sutter is actually on the list.
Okay.
So don't feel too bad.
Well, give me the list.
I just got Sutter is on the list.
Okay.
I don't have the whole list.
So Ty, who sent this, what he's trying to tell you is George made a very intelligent guess.
He's giving you some credit.
You're giving me none, which is why the next time
George,
Kelly threatens you with bodily harm, I'm going to let him.
You don't always have to go into the 70s and 80s, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah, but that was a pretty good little era of baseball. By the way, Mariano Rivera is a good one, too, with the American League having dominated over the last 20 years. That's one I should have considered, but I went National League, and you know what? Shoot me.
Bodily harm.
Bodily harm. Hour number one is done. Mike Organ from the Tennessean will be with us, and among the topics will be Tennessee State football coach Eddie George. Stick around. This is going to be fun.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. The global IT outage being fixed, but the problems caused by the faulty Microsoft update will take longer to fix for tens of thousands of businesses. The most visible industry affected, airlines. 2,500 flights canceled today in the U.S.
At airports around the country, check-in areas have become like campsites for families and other stranded travelers trying to get flights out, including this man who could have a cruise ship leaving without him.
Orlando. My family and I have a cruise, so we're going to Orlando and might not make it.
Delta Airlines has the most canceled flights, almost 900, and its biggest hub, Atlanta, has been impacted the worst. Alex Stone, ABC News.
President Biden in Delaware recovering from COVID, but still battling growing calls by Democrats for him to step aside as the nominee heading into the weekend. The union representing American Airlines flight attendants announced it's reached a tentative deal on a new contract. It's under review and still needs to be ratified by 28,000 flight attendants. This is ABC News.
Is heating up, just like the deals at Omaha Steaks. From perfectly aged steaks to juicy burgers, Omaha Steaks is your summer grilling headquarters. Shop the Hotter Than Fire sale at omahasteaks.com for exclusive unconditional money-back guaranteed packages starting at $99. Plus, get an extra $10 off with promo code QUALITY at checkout. Visit omahasteaks.com, code QUALITY for an extra $10 off. Shop the Hotter Than Fire sale today before these deals go up in smoke.
Omaha Steaks, America's original butcher.
Offer not valid in all states or where prohibited by law. Loans are subject to lender approval. See website for details.
Honey, the credit card bill came, and we're maxed out.
Maxed out cards, rent is due. We just need some extra cash to help us get by.
Maybe we should go to 27cash.com.
With our bad credit?
27cash.com is one of the largest personal loan networks. They can help people with any type of credit get up to $5,000, and cash can hit our bank account as soon as tomorrow.
When you need extra cash, go to 27cash.com. That's 27cash.com. 27cash.com.
As you know, summertime is here. And for most people, that means more activities, more golf, more biking, more of whatever you love to do. But if you're dealing with minor aches and pains, your more could become less. This is why I'm here to tell you about Relief Factor. Relief Factor is a daily supplement that helps fight pain naturally. For instance, I was sent Relief Factor to try, and I've been taking it every single day. I'll tell you what, I feel the difference every day. You see, instead of masking your pain, Relief Factor's formula is designed to help reduce or even eliminate it. It's 100% drug-free, and it's been a game changer for so many people. So let's get after it this summer. Let's feel good. Let's do more of the things that we love to do. Don't let pain keep you down. Give Relief Factor a try and save on your first order. Go to ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF. Fight pain naturally with Relief Factor. These products and statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or condition.
WNSR, Nashville Sports Radio. From the Nashville Sports Radio Media Complex. Welcome back to the George Plaster Show. Call George now at 615-844-5600 and online at WNSR.com. And now, George Plaster.
Featuring Tennessee Sports Hall of Famer Watson Brown, Tennessee Sports Hall of Famer Kelly Holcomb, along with young gun Billy Derrick. And now, here's your host, George Plaster.
We welcome all of you into the 5 o'clock hour on the show. In less than 1 minute, Mike Organ from the Tennessean will join us. But first, let's check in with my buddy Richard Pearl and the folks at Keller Williams.
Hello, I just want to talk to you today about listing your home. If you've been thinking about listing your home but don't know what your home is worth, please feel free to give me a call at 615-268-7996, and I will run a comparable market analysis for you and see what your home is worth. 615-268-7996, or my office number is 615-895-8000.
Okay, Richard, have a good weekend. Appreciate it. Now, let me check in with Mike Organ from the Tennessean, who joins us by phone. Mike, how are you?
I am doing good, George. How are you?
Good. As you know, it has been a busy week. We had young Billy Jones, who is a University of Missouri journalism major, down at SEC Football Media Days. He did a brilliant job down there. While you were not in Dallas, you were covering some media days. Tell me about it.
Well, I covered OVC Big South. Actually, I think it's the other way around. It's the Big South Ohio Valley Conference. This is the second year for that alignment, and I covered that on Tuesday. And we've got we used to have several teams in the area from the area in the OVC, but we only have two now in this alignment, Tennessee Tech and Tennessee State, unless you also want to include UT Martin, which is not in our primary coverage area, but they're also there. In fact, UT Martin was picked to win the conference. The tied for first last year, but lost out on a tiebreaker to Gardner-Webb, which got the national playoff bid last year. But Tennessee State, under Coach Eddie George in its fourth season, was picked fourth, which I think is right about where everybody expected, coming off its first winning season in 6 years last year at 6-5. And Eddie pointed out that a couple of plays away from being a 9 or a 10 win season last year. And that wasn't just coaching vitriol. That was true. A couple of plays had gone their way. They could have been 9-2 last year, or had 9 or 10 wins last year. Of course, could have also been below 500 had some plays gone the other way in some games that they won. But going to be an interesting year for Tennessee State, probably most significantly for not just for Eddie George, but more for his son Eric George, who's going to be one of the top defensive players in the nation in the FCS. He's a defensive end, and they've got a very good defense there, and he'll be the leader of that unit this year.
Good Lord, how old does that make us feel? That Eddie
Very
has
old.
a son that's like NFL draft, possibilities.
George, this is his youngest son. His older son, if you recall,
Played at Vandy.
Yeah, if you don't feel bad enough already, let me make you feel worse. His oldest son played at Vanderbilt for a couple of seasons, several seasons ago. That was 4 or 5 years ago. So, this is the other one. So, yeah, it makes you feel old because we remember those two kids running around, with he and Taj back in the day when he was playing for the Titans, and that's a good segue to the other thing I'm working on. I'm going to the Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame tomorrow night, where Chris Johnson, who followed Eddie George, will be inducted into the Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame. So that makes us feel old as well, because we think of Chris as kind of being young since he played 10 years after Eddie. And now he's going into the Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame.
Good Lord, that does make us feel old. So let me try this one on you. A week ago, you spoke to my downtown Kiwanis club, and you got into what I'll call newspaper sports department analytics. When stuff like SEC football media days in mid-July happen, is that a thirst of people who are, oh my God, give me something in football? Does that huge move a needle?
Not like it used to, George. It's not, SEC football media day, all media days were created to help newspapers do their preseason previews. We would always do even a whole tabloid, on the SEC season coming up, and what was going on, and you would get all your material, all your content at SEC media days. Well, as you know now, it never stops. We never stopped talking about SEC football. Back in the day, we'd stop after the season and wouldn't talk about it. We wouldn't. The draft, would come up and we'd cover it a little bit. That'd be a week, 3 or 4 days content, and we wouldn't pick it up back again until the preseason. And the same way with college football. We'd do a little bit on spring football. We'd do a couple of weeks worth of coverage, and then pick it back up in August. And so that's why media days were created. Well, they're kind of obsolete now, even though it's still a huge thing. they're not what they used to be for media outlets because it never stops. You don't have to wait to get the coaches and 2 or 3 players standing behind a podium for 10 or 15 minutes to cover them. They're covered daily around the full calendar year. There's never an off season. So no, it's not what it used to be for newspapers. I think it probably you'd speak to it better about radio, but we never stop now, and radio doesn't stop, TV doesn't stop either. So it's evolved into something different from what it was originally.
It's funny you bring that up, and Billy, you've watched this go on since we've gotten back on radio. I would claim this has been the easiest, quote, off season we've ever had. I think the content that we have had during the off season, which to me is kind of late March to about now, I think Mike's onto something that there really is no off season.
Absolutely. It's becoming more like pro sports, feels like pro sports, those types of off seasons. Where's this guy going to transfer to? And, it's all year round. But, Mike, media days brings up the way you talk about it now. I mean, every word is, you don't have to be there as a writer, as a beat writer. I mean, you can get every word from watching it live and getting the transcripts and all kind of different things. And I would imagine, back in the maybe 15, 20 years ago, this was an event you had to be at. And I'm sure transcripts were still coming out, but it was almost an event where if you weren't there, you were almost missing out. So, but how has the business changed in general? I mean, how long have you been covering? How long have you been at the Tennessean?
39 years.
Okay, I figured it was
years in about 2 weeks.
So you want to hear
I want to hear the.
You want to hear the intro I gave him last week was that Mike has survived all the Gannett, purges for one reason. If they get rid of him, there is no Tennessean sports department.
Exactly. But, Mike, just kind of go into, almost 40 years of writing for the Tennessean. What were some of the early days like, and how does it feel now? How much has it changed, and what exactly has changed?
Well, George will remember this, I believe. Before, I was at the Tennessean, but I wasn't covering SEC football at the time. I was covering high school football and MTSU and some OBC and some other things. But my first 5 or 6 years, I wasn't covering. I started covering Vanderbilt in '93, so that was about 7 years into my career. And so I wasn't covering the SEC, but the Skywriters Tour was a part of the SEC Media Days. What that was SEC would charter an old plane. It's like a World War II plane, and it had propellers on it. And they would go and you would go to I think it was based either in Alabama or Atlanta, and you would fly out to each camp and get updated on what was going on. Now, this was pre-SEC football media days. That's how they did it, was they would fly you around, and all the sports writers would all get together and get drunk every night on this plane and fly from spot to spot and hit all the hot spots in Baton Rouge and Auburn, Tuscaloosa. And it was just a crazy party, and they'd miss the plane. Half of them missed the plane because they'd get up hungover the next day, so they'd have to rent a car and drive from Starkville to Ole Miss to get caught up, to get back on the track because the plane left them. So these were some crazy days, and finally the SEC said, you know what, instead of flying all these guys to these places, how about if we bring all these places to one place and let everybody come? So that's how the SEC Media Days came about, was the Skywriters Tour finally got grounded. So SEC Media Days were humongous back in those days. Thousands of reporters would show up, and it was miserable. You'd have to go, and Jackie Sherrill would stand up and talk about Mississippi State's three deep depth chart for 20 minutes. Every player was an outstanding player with great parents. by the way. and then you'd have to lug all these media guides, which were as big as phone books, and I know you don't want to know what a phone book is, Billy, but George can tell you later. And you'd had to lug all these media guides to your car, the trunk of your rental car, in 110-degree heat index, and then you'd have to look at all their releases and try to find something to come up with to write from down there. But again, the most of the time, you're basically just gathering stuff for your tab, because your tabloid was really a big deal. And a tabloid was about a 10 to 20 page color slick tabloid that would come out a Sunday before the season started, that would have your rundown on every team. Now, it had things like, these were elusive things that you couldn't get anywhere else back in this day: a roster, a schedule, a depth chart. These were things you couldn't get them. You had to wait until something like the tabloid came out, or you had to go out and buy a magazine that might or might not have this information. And that's kind of where we are today. And while it's, we've got schedules now, for the next 5 years, and we got them at the touch of our hand. We got them on our phone. We've got the roster for every team. We've got depth chart for every team. We've got an updated depth chart. That's a problem with those tabloids. We had about a 2-week deadline before they came out, so by the time they came out, half the information had changed. So it was, and that's back when football preseason magazines were so big. We don't see those anymore nearly as much as we used to. So that was what it was like. And again, the coaches dictated how interesting it was. Now, Steve Spurrier finally came and pumped some life into it when he would say some off-color things, considered off-color at the time, because he might say something derogatory about an opponent, like a Tennessee or somebody, and you just longed for something like that to happen after you'd been, listening to Billy Brewer talk about Ole Miss might be able to go from 6 to 7 wins this year.
By the way,
Brad Scott at South Carolina talking about how happy they were to be in the SEC now and how it was going to change everything. It was so hard to find anything that no one else was writing, because everybody was right there getting fed the same thing.
Billy, when he talks about this plane on the SEC Skywriters Tour, let me give you a visual. You remember in the movie Major League where the woman owner gets pissed off at the team and she decides to put them on one of these prop things? Remember that?
Yeah.
The Cleveland Indian jet?
Yeah.
That's what he's talking about. Because
I never flew on it, and I don't fly well as it is.
Right.
I am so grateful that I missed that era.
Hey, real quickly, before we go, I saw something that I really like, and that is that the John Merritt Classic is sort of getting a little bit of a makeover, and it's going to include a high school game under the John Merritt Classic umbrella. Talk to me about that. I really like it.
I loved that. We had the Titans had high school football media day last Wednesday, a week ago Wednesday, over at Nissan Stadium. And while over there, I found out about this John Merritt Classic expanding to high schools. And so I talked to a friend of yours of mine who's the athletics director for Metro, and he said yes, and he gave me the details. So then I talked to Tony Bernetti from Pearl Cone and Engel Martin from CPA. Here's the deal. This year, CPA, which is the defending state champion, I think Division II 2A, and Pearl Cone, which is 4A state champion, will play on August 30th at Pearl Cone. On August 31st will be the John Merritt Classic at Nissan Stadium. The high school game will be billed as part of the Classic. The Aristocrat of bands, the TSU band, will show up and perform at Pearl Cone. The cheerleaders will be there. The mascot will be there. The court for the Classic from Mississippi State and TSU will be there. And there'll be some representation. I don't think Eddie George could be there or the coaching staff, because I think that's a dead period. But it will be it'll be the lead up for the John Merritt Classic, which I think will be the 25th John Merritt Classic. Now, the original plan was for BGA and Maplewood to be a part of this, and that they would play on Thursday night. They would move their game to Pearl Cone and play on Thursday night. So there would be 2 high school games. Something happened. I think George Plaster screwed something up with BGA, and that game wasn't able to be played. So that game's not being played this year. But next going forward, the plan is to have a Thursday night game, high school, Friday night game, high school, and then the John Merritt Classic. And hopefully by then, Hell Stadium will be renovated enough to where all 3 games could be played there. So,
hey,
if
Mike, let's get them to do something. Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Because that's a great game. Pearl Cone has done great stuff in Metro. We know what CPA has been. We need to get them to play that on Thursday night so that all of the schools and all the fans that want to see a really good football game can do it without missing their own school's game on Friday.
That's a great idea. See, and that's kind of the cool thing about rolling it out this year, like in this format, and just getting the idea out here. And then next year, tweaking it a little bit. And I love that idea. I think that's a great idea. And the other good thing about it is Pearl Cone and CPA don't normally play. They used to play all the time, like up until about 15 or 16. But they're no longer in the same region, so they don't play very often. So this is going to be they started playing again last year, and Pearl Cone won 15-11 in a thriller. So play that game on Thursday, and then play a different game on Friday. And the Pearl Cone game doesn't have to be on Friday by any means. And then like you said, everybody else can go and see these 2 great teams. And not miss their own games. I like that.
You know what? Now that we've got that solved, we'll move on to world peace.
There you go. And we have something to talk about at our next National Football Foundation meeting. You and I can get on to Mark North about doing it this way.
You know what? Let's do it. I love it, Mike. You have a good weekend. Thank you on short notice for being willing to change on the fly this week.
No problem at all. Glad to do it, and enjoyed talking to your Kiwanis Club of Nashville last week as well.
That's a good, lively bunch. Thanks, Mike.
Okay, see you guys. Bye-bye.
Okay, Mike Organ from the Tennessean joining us. I'm going to open the phones for the rest of the hour and have no idea what's out there, but I'm also going to brag on Billy Jones and what he did to help us with the coverage for the first 4 days of SEC football media days. It was spectacular. I'm really proud of what went on there. But enough of that for the moment. I want 3 red-blooded Americans who perhaps have nothing else to do for a few minutes to hit the phones, and I want to hear from you at 615-844-5600. Again, 615-844-5600. I do think I'm on to something. They ought to play that game on Thursday night, make it a big deal where everybody who cares a little bit about high school football can see it, but not have to miss out on the game of their choice and the school of their choice on Friday. Now that we have that solved, we'll go to the break. I need your phone calls next as you listen to the George Plaster Show on 95.9 FM.
It was the most horrible experience that any mother could ever go through. I knew that I needed to get help. My friend, she immediately said, "You need to call Bart Durham." And you guys were there within an hour. You guys are like family for us.
Yeah, sure is nice to connect with the people that you're doing your best to help.
Year number 2 of the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night was awesome. And the reason is really simple. I chose Strike and Spare, and they were amazing. They have great food, great bowling, and a staff that is truly ready to go the extra mile to help you. They have 5 family fun centers in the area to choose from, and for more info, go to strikeandspare.com or call them at 615-824-5688.
Venture Express has been helping people in this area for more than 40 years. They're headquartered in Murfreesboro with over 30 years of dedicated fleets involving production, manufacturing, and corrugated experiences. They're an asset-based company with over 700 tractors, 4,000 trailers, and 800 drivers. If you need their help, dial them up 615-793-9500 or log on to ventureexpress.com.
As the trusted premier custom home builder in Middle Tennessee, Donnelly Timmons has over 20 years of experience in the industry. Whether you're looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and every remodel is unique, luxurious, and completed on time within budget. Founders Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly have over 25 years of construction experience in the Nashville area. Together, they have completed projects in Forest Hills, Oak Hill, Green Hills, Franklin, and Brentwood. Dustin and Joey believe that communication is the most important aspect of all construction projects. Therefore, they personally manage each project themselves and are involved in job site activities on a daily basis. Their commitment to quality and integrity has earned them an outstanding reputation among their clients. Contact them to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects. Give them a call at 615-456-7983 or log on to DonnellyTimmons.com.
Production, manufacturing, and corrugated experiences. They're an asset-based company with over 700 tractors, 4,000 trailers, and 800 drivers. If you need their help, dial them up 615-793-9500 or log on to ventureexpress.com.
It's just a few cocktails at happy hour.
There aren't any cops around.
After every game, we always have a few. It's no big deal.
It was just a few drinks. I'm good.
Hey, I can hold my liquor.
I drink and drive all the time.
If you put away some drinks, put away your keys. Fans don't let fans drive drunk.
Brought to you by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office, a division of the Tennessee Department of Safety and Homeland Security.
Here's Stan Harrison for Apple Collision Centers.
Hello, George. We at Apple Collision Centers understand the stress that auto body repair process can put in your day-to-day lives. We at Apple Collision Centers, we have 3 convenient locations, Old Hickory, Hendersonville, and Gallatin, ready to serve you. You can stop by and get an estimate, or you can get one online at www.applecollisioncenters.com.
Act to overkill. Yeah. Sure we do. Okay. So, welcome back. We're getting a little silly on a Friday afternoon, but that's okay. We've had a long week, but y'all could help us a little bit. There's some of you driving home right now who need to jump in on the line. I implore that you do that, whatever the hell implore means, at 615-844-5600. I will tell you that starting in about a month, our high school football coverage will begin. Football Friday.
The return.
The return, absolutely. Anyway, I'm looking for 2 other red-blooded Americans who have some sports that they want to talk about. So, I'm looking for you to jump in. Let's start with the one call that's on there and see if we can get a couple more and get it built up a little bit, get some momentum.
Let's get it going
into the weekend. Desmond out in Franklin, Tennessee. Are you Desmond Howard?
I am not. No, I'm not. George, it's Friday. I'm happy to be here. Summer League is happening. It's there. It's out there. It's going. How important is Summer League? I mean, there's so many results that we see guys doing poorly in Summer League. They get to the league and they just turn it around. They have one good game. They just turn it around. Like, how important do you think Summer League really is for these guys?
Hold on a second. That's a really good question. And the truth of it is, I don't know the answer. And here's the thing. As you know, perhaps as good as I do, when you see those guys playing, it's not like they're playing against LeBron and Anthony Davis. Most of these rookies are playing against rookies or against second and third year players that really have not had a lot of time to, play during NBA regular seasons. And so I don't really know the answer.
Yeah, I've seen guys in the G League for now 3 years doing amazing stuff. Like Mac McClung is a slam dunk champion, two-time champion. He's won MVP. He's won a G League championship, and yet he can't get into the league. He's gone to summer leagues. He's done well. These guys are scoring. These guys are playing defense. They're just not the right fit. I don't know what these teams are looking for, what makes you stand out the other. Like, Bronny is the talk of the show, obviously. It's LeBron James' son. I just want to know, like, if he didn't go to Summer League just because of the name on his back or anything like that, he's probably going to the league. But these other guys that you've never heard of, like Jaylen Brown, has the same stat line that Bronny James does right now, and he MVP, Western Conference MVP, and now Finals MVP. So I just don't know what they're looking for.
Okay, guys, let's go back on something. He brings up, and Desmond, hold on with us. He brings up Mac McClung, whose big skill before you got into all this slam dunk stuff was that he was a great outside shooter, right?
Yeah.
Okay. But the problem is, Mark Jackson used to say this before he and Van Gundy got canned, that the shot-making ability in the NBA in the last 2 or 3 years has never been better. And what that has done, it has taken the Mac McClungs, whose one skill is that they can shoot the daylights out of it, and it's not enough anymore. It used to be enough. Now it's not.
Yeah, I mean, McClung, he was a really good college player, and I think what we are also seeing, Jaden, is that, you get a kid like a McClung or maybe even Dalton Connect. Maybe Dalton Connect doesn't turn into the great pro a lot of fans want to see, but the G League is...
You mean my Rookie of the Year?
What do you mean?
He's going to be the NBA Rookie of the Year.
Oh, come on.
Dalton Connect? Why not?
George.
What's so crazy about that?
I mean, it's not that crazy, but I don't see him winning Rookie of the Year.
Well, okay. Tell me who you see above him.
Reed Shepherd.
Oh, please.
Zach Edey.
Now, that I do maybe see.
I mean, is Dalton Connect going to is he going to put up Rookie of the Year numbers is the question.
I think, let me put it this way. If he makes a significant contribution to the Lakers, because they feel like they've been 1.5 players away, what if he's that player?
Yeah, I mean, he definitely can, but he wouldn't be my pick. But at the end of the day, the G League, the Summer League, basically, is what we're talking about, but also the G League. It feels like a big difference from what we're watching in the NBA. You watch the NBA, but you can't always say that, I think, for these sports. NFL, there's no minor league. MLB, AAA, that's some high-level baseball. I'm not saying Summer League isn't high-level basketball, but you just don't recognize as many guys now. It's just not much of a, at least viewing-wise, it's not much of a draw, maybe.
Desmond, explain to Billy that my pick is a very logical one.
I think it is. I mean, he has the experience. He has the age. He's basically reached his full potential coming in as a rookie. It makes a lot of sense to me that Dalton Knecht is the leading rookie of the year as of right now. I'm not saying Zach Edey is not going to be into a great situation in Memphis, because he is. They need size. They need people to get rebounds, and that's what he's going to provide. He's going to clog up the lane, and he's got to have a lot of offensive power to get a lot of wins for that young Memphis team. I think Dalton Knecht is a better pick because he's going into a really good situation. He has a LeBron. He has people to pour into him, and he's 23, but he has been in the college game for a long time. He's developed. He's ready to go. He's fired up. He's averaging 20 in the summer league. He looks great.
You're a basketball guy, aren't you?
Oh, through and through.
I love it. Good for you. Keep watching it. It's good stuff.
It is. I'm loving it right now.
Grayson Murphy from Belmont out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Desmond, thank you for the call.
Hey, thank you, George. Have a good weekend.
You too. Let me get to Stephen in Nashville. Stephen, welcome to the show.
What's going on, George?
I'm good. Hope you are.
Yeah, I heard y'all talking about the NBA and the Summer League and all that good stuff. I want to ask, I heard you talking about the Lakers, obviously. Do you think Bronny James is going to be able to turn into a great player? And do you think his struggles early on was because of the pressure from being LeBron's son?
Right now, I would lean to the answers no and no. First of all, if his last name were not James, would he have even been drafted?
No.
I would say no.
Okay, the flip side is that before I sell him down the road, also remember that there was a major league health scare.
Yep.
This was not some, hangnail. This was serious heart stuff.
Yeah.
And so before I just toss him, down the road and say, no, he's not going to be, and no this and no that, he is LeBron's son. And the Lakers, I'm assuming if he was a dud, that the Lakers would have said to LeBron, look, we'll sign him as a free agent, but we are not wasting a second draft pick on him.
Yeah, I mean, Bronny's it's going to take a little bit for Bronny. And anybody saying he's going to win Rookie of the Year this year is out of their mind. There's no chance. I mean, the other guy they drafted has a better chance of winning Rookie of the Year than Bronny James. But you also look at it, and he is LeBron James' son. He's got a ton of potential with that. I mean, but it's not immediate. It's not this year, maybe not even next year, but 3, 4. I think Bronny James is going to be a really good player, but I think he should have stayed at USC, to be honest.
I kind of do too.
Like, what would one more year at USC have hurt?
I don't know, and I don't know if he felt a pressure. Maybe he knew that his dad isn't going to play more than this year, and maybe he knew that this was something his dad really wanted.
Yep.
Or maybe it was something he really wanted.
Yeah, there was it was not mutual. Obviously, staying at USC, one or the other didn't want that to happen, is what it feels like. But he's also in good hands. J.J. Redick he's never been a coach, right? But good basketball mind. We'll see how that pans out. So he'll be in good hands. Is what I'll say. But I don't think they'll be winning. They're not going to be winning an NBA title with Bronny, LeBron.
I don't think so. But I will say this:
it'll be must-watch TV though.
When they played Denver a year ago, even though they got ousted in the opening round, when they played Denver, there didn't look like a lot of difference between the two teams.
No,
there really didn't. I know we need to go to a break. It is It's 5:39. I'll ask for one last batch of calls if you're out there. I opened up the phones and it's been a little slow. And that's okay, but we don't want it to continue because Before we went SEC Football Media Days a week ago, man, we were wall-to-wall with calls, and that was great. 615-844-5600 is the number. You hit them. You're listening to The George Plaster Show on 95.9 FM. As you might be able to tell, my buddy Stan Harrison, he's an Alabama Crimson Tide fan, but he's actually here to talk about Apple Collision Centers.
Hello, Middle Tennessee. I'm Stan Harrison, CEO of Apple Collision Centers, and we understand the stress it causes in having an automobile accident. We can help you ease the stress of the auto body repair process at our 3 locations. We're conveniently located in Old Hickory, Hendersonville, and Gallatin. We've got rental cars available, we have PDR technicians available, and we have windshield technicians available. Please stop by one of our places and see us if you need our services.
And by the way, when you come in his office, this just in, he's a sports fan.
You were in a crash.
Yeah.
Your kids were in a car with you.
We're very lucky to even be telling this story to you. Nikki treated us like family, and she was very caring and loving, and I'm just so grateful for that. She was somebody I could trust, and being a veteran, that's so important to me. My kids are going to have a better life now because I don't have to worry about those expenses that we were out. Your family has really created a legacy of trust, and I would recommend you to anyone.
Nashville Sounds Baseball is back in Hit City for the 2024 season. Spend your nights and weekends at the ballpark with weekly giveaways, fireworks shows, throwback deals, live music, and more. Top talent will take the field at First Horizon Park against the AAA Minnesota Twins, Baltimore Orioles, Atlanta Braves, St. Louis Cardinals, Cincinnati Reds, and more. Tickets start at just $10 and are available now at NashvilleSounds.com. We will see you in Hit City.
You know, starting to save for your future doesn't have to be difficult. Let Wilson Bank and Trust help tone up your financial goals this year. Our certificates of deposits or CDs can help your money work harder with our competitive rates, earning you more than ever before. WBT checking options allow you to earn rewards you can really use, like a high interest rate or cash back on check card purchases when you meet some e-banking qualifications. Visit your closest Wilson Bank and Trust office or online at wilsonbank.com to get started today. Member FDIC.
Over the years, more men have started to seek help for hormone deficiencies and imbalances, and Dr. Jeffrey Lodge and wife Daphne, along with their experienced staff, give men the treatment required to improve their quality of life, improve your immune system, energy level, cognitive function, and more. There's no better time to achieve a healthy lifestyle. What are you waiting for? Give Cool Springs MD a call today for an appointment at 615-486-3458 or visit the website coolspringsmd.com.
If you're having plumbing issues, there's only one guy to call. That's Adam Whitehead. As a third-generation plumber, Adam was born and raised right here in Bellevue. Customers praise his professionalism, efficiency, and personability. Adam is known for his prompt response to emergencies and for providing high-quality repairs at reasonable prices. His expertise extends to various plumbing issues, including sink leaks, dishwasher installations, and outdoor water issues. Call him at 615-485-1534. That's 615-485-1534.
Express.com.
Hey, if you're looking for a place to catch all the hockey and hoops action this spring, look no further than the Alley Pub in Bellevue. And now here's Samantha to tell you about one of their great weekly specials.
Attention service industry. We want to say cheers to you at the Alley Pub, located at 7040 Highway 70 South in Bellevue. Every Wednesday night, bring a copy of your ABC card or pay stub to receive 20% off of your tab. Only at the Alley Pub, Bellevue's best sports bar and grill.
Hello, Flashdance. Welcome back. Billy, it was interesting what Mike Organ said about SEC Football Media Days because, first of all the coaches to a man, don't want to say anything.
No.
They don't want to say anything that riles up bulletin boards.
Unless you're Lane Kiffin.
Yeah. He seems to be the one. For the most part, none of them want to say anything. And to Mike's point, what really goes on now, you say, okay, why are all the radio stations and the podcasts there? Because they can all talk to each other. You know, we've had a series of really good interviews. The one yesterday with, help me, is it Monica Sims?
Courtney Mims.
Courtney Mims, sorry, I just made up a new name.
An inside look at the Arkansas situation, which was really good. And Courtney Mims.
Oh, yeah, what was the name? Pig
Trail Nation.
Pig Trail Nation. That's what goes on now is that those groups are more who you're going to get your best stuff from now.
It's a TV, digital, internet world now. I mean, let's face it, as Mike hinted at.
Yeah.
You know, and as everybody knows, it's not as important for all the beat writers to go out there now. I mean, they can sit at home and watch it. Everything is spoken. You can hear it from your TV. They don't need to go out there. But for TV, for internet people, Twitter, content creators, you can really get some good stuff and some hot takes and players with chains on. I mean, there's just it's a different world, and it coincides with the internet. You know, I mean, you take a picture of a player that has some cool shoes on, and that goes viral. Like that's kind of what the event is about now. It almost feels like it's a made-for-TV event now.
It probably is.
Because, I mean, we've been the last couple years in Atlanta. Was my first time. I realized, I mean, there's lights everywhere. There's ESPN sets. You got Feinbaum. You got everybody. And even last year in Nashville, you know, the same thing. I'm sure it was the same in Dallas, where it's just I'm sure it's very different from the first one you went to or some of the early ones in Hoover.
Oh, yeah. Gosh, it has changed. First of all, after they did away with the SEC Skyriders, and Mike said it correctly, it was a big drunk fest.
Yeah,
and
I've heard
there were like 15 to 20 that were SEC Skyriders, and they've all got, you know, it all sounds like Billy Martin in some pub. You know, is what it used to sound like. Well, then for a long time, when that went away, I don't think they really did SEC football media days. And now they issue over 1,000 credentials.
It's a big moneymaker. I mean, right?
Well, it certainly is for whatever city is hosting it. You got all these people that come in.
Yeah. And something that our viewers and listeners should probably know is that it's not easy to pack your stuff. You know, it was easy last year, obviously, in Nashville. We would drive over to the Hyatt. And Atlanta's a little bit closer, but you know, it's not easy to send your station or your show there. And so that tells you, you know, and they want to make it
we made a real commitment on this show to doing it. The SEC charges you $700 for the actual physical space that you have. Okay, then you've got the hotel that tries to fleece you in parking. You know, if you think it's $8 parking for the day, think again.
Yeah.
Then you've got, hotels for 4 days. In this case, you had one radio station in town, and then this show were the two radio entities, in our case, podcast and radio, who were there. I made the decision it was important enough.
Yeah.
And you know what? I think the content that we had this week, I'll put up with anybody's.
And what they do is, I mean, you pay for the experience also. They've got dinners later and events after the media days each night, which is really cool. But yeah, we've got a lot loaded up for the next few weeks here that I think people are going to really like.
Yeah. What we have done we tried to take the obvious, Vandy, Tennessee, Alabama. Would like to have been able to do more on Kentucky. Kentucky, I think, was the last school in. And by the way, for those who think that's unfair, I agree with you. And what I think ought to be done is the 4 that got stuck at the tail end on Thursday, they should be the first day next year.
Yep.
If you're going to be fair about it. And anyway, we have stockpiled a bunch of stuff that you will hear over the next 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Pretty excited about that.
No, I think people, and we got every team covered just about, whether it's A&M or whether you're an Alabama fan, we've got another Alabama person in Auburn and Florida, all kinds of different people, especially Arkansas. Like yesterday was a really good interview. So, I think people are going to be excited because that's the unofficial kickoff of the SEC season. And you got fall camp coming up here in a couple weeks, so this is what we'll be talking about.
Here is the sobering stuff about is football right around the corner. NFL Hall of Fame game, 2 weeks from last night. Titans' first preseason game, August the 10th, 3 weeks from tomorrow against the San Francisco 49ers at Nissan Stadium. High school football, there's 2 or 3 games that will be played on Friday night, August the 16th. Most of them start on the 23rd.
Under a month away from high school football.
How's that for sober?
That's fun to say.
Anyway, we're going to go to our final break. I'll tell you you'll get a break next week because I'll be out of here. I'm headed on vacation. Billy will anchor everything with Kelly, assuming Kelly doesn't kill him.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm not making Kelly come out here because it might get ugly.
You worry about that?
No.
Physically, him being here.
He has given me some threats, so you never know.
Yes. The HR department. Absolutely.
On top of it.
Oh, no question. We'll go to the break, and then Plaster Bet of the Day is coming up as you listen to the George Plaster Show on 95.9 FM. Here's Stan Harrison for Apple Collision Centers.
Hello, George. We at Apple Collision Centers understand the stress that auto body repair process can put in your day-to-day lives. We at Apple Collision Centers, we have 3 convenient locations, Old Hickory, Hendersonville, and Gallatin, ready to serve you. You can stop by and get an estimate, or you can get one online at www.applecollisioncenters.com.
You were in a crash.
Yeah.
Your kids were in the car with you.
We're very lucky to even be telling this story to you. Nikki treated us like family, and she was very caring and loving, and I'm just so grateful for that. She was somebody I could trust, and being a veteran, that's so important to me. My kids are going to have a better life now because I don't have to worry about those expenses that we were out. Your family has really created a legacy of trust, and I would recommend you to anyone.
As the trusted premier custom home builder in Middle Tennessee, Donnelly Timmons has over 20 years of experience in the industry. Whether you're looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and every remodel is unique, luxurious, and completed on time within budget. Founders Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly have over 25 years of construction experience in the Nashville area. Together, they have completed projects in Forest Hills, Oak Hill, Green Hills, Franklin, and Brentwood. Dustin and Joey believe that communication is the most important aspect of all construction projects. Therefore, they personally manage each project themselves and are involved in job site activities on a daily basis. Their commitment to quality and integrity has earned them an outstanding reputation among their clients. Contact them to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects. Give them a call at 615-456-7983 or log on to DonnellyTimmons.com.
All right, when it comes to getting life insurance for your family, a lot of excuses can get in the way. But ask yourself this. If something were to happen to me, who would pay the mortgage, the kids' education, and the other bills? Then forget the excuses and check out Ethos Life, the online, easy way to get life insurance in 10 minutes. Ethos has rates that you can afford, like a $500,000 policy for a 40-year-old male starting at $1 a day or $30 a month, with a few health questions and no medical exam. Get your free quote right now at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com. Not available in all states. Rates do vary.
For over 35 years, Wilson Bank & Trust has been committed to providing customized banking solutions to help individuals, families, and businesses in Tennessee achieve their goals. As your full-service community bank, we are proud to offer loans with competitive rates, local decision-making, and fast, friendly service from our experienced lenders. No matter where you are on your financial journey, Wilson Bank & Trust is ready to help you take the next step. Visit your nearest Wilson Bank & Trust office or online at wilsonbank.com to get started today. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Venture Express has been helping people in this area for more than 40 years. They're headquartered in Murfreesboro with over 30 years of dedicated fleets involving production, manufacturing, and corrugated experiences. They're an asset-based company with over 700 tractors, 4,000 trailers, and 800 drivers. If you need their help, dial them up 615-793-9500 or log on to ventureexpress.com.
Progressive presents good news, bad news, dumb news, then great news. Good news. While leaning over the fence, your neighbor said you could save money bundling home and auto insurance with Progressive. Bad news. Your neighbor leaned over a little too much and broke your fence. Dumb news. Somehow fence wood is more expensive than wood. Great news. You decide to see if you could save money bundling at Progressive.com and to plant really tall shrubs. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
Final segment on a Friday. Couple pieces of news. Former Alabama running back Kenyon Drake has announced his retirement from the NFL. Not a very long career there for
Kenyon
Drake. So he is headed out. We've also got Braves-Cardinals tonight, 6:20 first pitch. Pregame coverage coming up right here on 95.9 FM. But let's get to George's pick tonight, and it is brought to you by Bart Durham Injury Law. Give them a call, 615-242-9000, or log on, bartdurham.com.
Billy, think about this for just a second. And I know you want to put my record up there, so go right ahead.
I actually
it's
don't.
Awful.
We showed it earlier this week, and because we showed it as 2-6.
It's embarrassing.
2-6 after the All-Star game loss.
So for all the talk that the Dodgers were going to be this unbeatable thing because of Ohtani, and Ohtani's great, don't get me wrong, but the truth of it is the Dodgers, their record at the moment is 56-41. Not that that's anything to sneeze at, but the Braves' record is 53-42. And nobody feels like the Braves have really hit their stride. My point is the Dodgers have had these big pitching problems, huge pitching problems. A lot of people hurt. Walker Buehler hurt. Clayton Kershaw hurt. The list goes on and on. They're 4 or 5. And they went to Detroit last weekend before the break and gagged 2 games late, like real late, like 5 in the 9th inning kind of stuff last Saturday. Dodgers are pissed off going to the All-Star break. Tonight they're at home, and they are a very small favorite, only 135 against the Red Sox. That's pretty light at Chavez Ravine.
Go Doyers.
Well, I don't know about that. But I think it's the right play. Of course, I've thought it's the right play quite a bit in the last year.
George, good luck. Have a great vacation.
Billy, thank you. And thanks to all the listeners. Billy will anchor things next week. I'll be back a week from Monday. See you then.